Brick, the formidable Troll Street samurai, found himself in need of a skilled team for a daring smuggling operation. He decided to enlist the help of two trusted allies, a talented female human mage named Seraphina and his old friend Hogreave, now known as Steel. In the sprawling urban labyrinth of Seattle, the year was 2077, and the world of Shadowrun teetered on the brink of chaos. Neon signs cast eerie glows onto rain-soaked streets, while the constant hum of technology mingled with the faint whispers of magic. Here, in this volatile metropolis, Brick, Seraphina, and Steel found themselves in a shadowy corner of the notorious Jumhouse Bar. The Jumhouse Bar was more than just a watering hole, it was a sanctuary for those who danced on the edge of legality and morality. Its walls bore witness to countless whispered deals, clandestine meetings, and the exchange of forbidden knowledge. The patrons, a motley crew of humans, trolls, elves, and dwarves, all had one thing in common: the willingness to do whatever it took to survive in this unforgiving world. Brick, a hulking troll with cybernetic enhancements and a rugged, battle-scarred face, leaned back in his chair, his massive form a stark contrast to the cramped, dimly lit room. Seraphina, a lithe and enigmatic human mage with a penchant for hiding her emotions, sat across from him, her fingers tracing invisible patterns on the worn table. On Brick's right, a newcomer to their crew, Steel, a grizzled dwarf with cybernetic limbs and a weathered trench coat, eyed the shadows warily. As the trio awaited their mysterious contact, the atmosphere inside the Jumhouse grew heavy with anticipation. The air was thick with the scent of soy noodles and the acrid tang of synthahol, a testament to the lives lived on the edge. In this world of intrigue and danger, the meeting that was about to take place could tip the scales of fate in any direction, and the runners were poised to dive headfirst into the abyss of another Shadowrun. The Smuggler's Run was a Shadowrun with a twist, one that had been concocted by their enigmatic employer, known only as Mr. Johnson. As the team delved into the details of the mission, it became clear that this was not your typical job. It involved the transportation of a highly sensitive cargo, the nature of which was kept deliberately vague. All they knew was that it was valuable, volatile, and needed to be moved discreetly. Their rendezvous point was a seedy dockside warehouse on the outskirts of the city where a rugged cargo submersible awaited them. Mr. Johnson had emphasized the need for utmost secrecy, and they were to ask no questions about the contents of the cargo. It was a job that reeked of danger, but the promise of a substantial payday had been enough to entice Brick, Steel, and Seraphina. The cargo itself was secured in a series of reinforced crates, each bearing cryptic markings that hinted at its mysterious nature. As they loaded the crates onto the submersible, they couldn't help but exchange curious glances. Brick's cyber-enhanced eye scanned the area for any signs of trouble, while Steel's experienced hands examined the crates for tampering. Seraphina, the team's mage, used her magical senses to ensure that no malevolent enchantments or curses clung to the cargo. It was an unsettling feeling, handling something so valuable yet shrouded in secrecy. Their journey took them through the dark, murky waters of the city's underground channels, away from prying eyes and corporate surveillance. The submersible's dimly lit interior provided an eerie backdrop for their tense journey. The constant hum of the vessel's engines was punctuated by the occasional creak and groan as it navigated the labyrinthine waterways. As they neared their destination, a hidden dock deep within the underground tunnels, their senses were on high alert. Something about this mission didn't sit right with Brick, Steel, or Seraphina. The secrecy, the mystery, and the sense that they were just pawns in a larger game all weighed heavily on their minds. But it was too late to turn back now. The cargo had to be delivered, and the true nature of their mission was about to be unveiled. The shadows closed in around them as they approached the dock, and the tension in the submersible was palpable. They knew that whatever lay inside those crates could change everything, for better or worse, in the treacherous world of Shadowrun. Preparation and planning were paramount as Brick, Steel, and Seraphina contemplated the imminent exchange of their enigmatic cargo. They had docked their submersible at the hidden underground pier as instructed, and the atmosphere was thick with uncertainty. Seraphina began by erecting a magical barrier around the submersible to ward off any prying eyes or hostile intentions. Her nimble fingers traced intricate symbols in the air, and a translucent, shimmering barrier enveloped their vessel, rendering it invisible to both magical and technological surveillance. Meanwhile, Steel meticulously inspected their surroundings, scanning for any hidden threats or potential ambush points. His cybernetic senses were fine-tuned to detect even the faintest electronic signatures, ensuring that they wouldn't be caught off guard. Brick, never one to leave anything to chance, double-checked the cargo's security, ensuring it was firmly anchored within the submersible's hold. His cyber-enhanced eye scanned the immediate area for any signs of movement or danger, his enhanced reflexes ready to react at a moment's notice. The team had also devised a code of signals and communication protocols to use during the exchange. They knew that the moment they revealed the cargo, they'd be at their most vulnerable. Every aspect of their plan had been scrutinized to minimize risks, but there was still an undercurrent of unease. As they made their final preparations, the air grew thick with anticipation. They couldn't help but wonder about the true nature of the cargo and why Mr. Johnson had insisted on such secrecy. The shadows closed in around them, and the subterranean dock seemed to grow darker with each passing moment. Brick, Steel, and Seraphina shared a silent nod, a pact among shadowrunners bound by the unspoken code of the shadows. With their preparations complete, they were ready to unveil the cargo, face whatever dangers lay ahead, and unravel the mysteries of the smuggler's run. Infiltration into the depths of the labyrinthine facility was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. The trio of shadowrunners moved in seamless coordination, each step deliberate and silent, navigating the facility's dimly lit corridors and avoiding security cameras and patrolling guards. Brick led the way, his massive troll frame surprisingly agile as he moved through the shadows. His enhanced cyberware allowed him to see in near-total darkness, giving him a critical advantage. Steel followed closely behind, his cybernetic limbs allowing him to move with astonishing precision. Seraphina, the elven mage, brought up the rear, her eyes shimmering with the arcane energies she could call upon when needed. The tension was palpable as they encountered the first obstacle, a security checkpoint guarded by armed personnel. Brick signaled for the team to halt, and they huddled in the shadows to discuss their options. Whispered conversations echoed through their subvocal microphones, their voices barely audible even to one another. They weighed the risks and rewards of confronting the guards versus attempting to bypass the checkpoint undetected. Time was of the essence, and their decisions would shape the outcome of their mission. Finally, they reached a consensus. Seraphina would use her magic to create an illusion, distracting the guards while Brick and Steel slipped past. It was a risky move, as magic was always a wild card in the shadows, but it was their best chance to maintain their cover. Seraphina stepped forward, her focus intensifying as she wove an illusion of a false alarm further down the corridor. The guards reacted as expected, rushing toward the perceived threat, their footsteps fading into the distance. With the path momentarily clear, Brick and Steel pressed on, their heart rates quickening with the adrenaline-fueled awareness of the dangers that lurked around each corner. They encountered more security measures, biometric locks, and surveillance drones, each obstacle requiring a combination of brute strength, technical finesse, and magical prowess to overcome. As they delved deeper into the facility, the tension only heightened. The weight of their mission bore down on them, a constant reminder of the risks they were taking. The realization that they were inching closer to the heart of the facility where the true nature of their cargo would be revealed added an extra layer of unease. But they were professionals, each shadowrunner skilled in their own right. They leaned on their training, their trust in one another, and the relentless drive that fueled them in the unforgiving world of shadowrunning. As the shadows clung to them, they pressed forward, determined to see their mission through to its enigmatic conclusion. Deep within the labyrinthine facility, after overcoming numerous security hurdles and dodging vigilant guards, Brick, Steel, and Seraphina reached the chamber housing the coveted artifact. Their eyes widened as they laid their gaze upon the mysterious object at the center of the room. The artifact, encased in a shimmering energy field, emitted an eerie, pulsating light that bathed the chamber in an otherworldly glow. It was a mesmerizing sight, both beautiful and disconcerting. The room's atmosphere crackled with arcane energy, making the air feel thick with anticipation. Brick, with his cybernetic-enhanced senses, detected a faint hum emanating from the artifact, a subtle resonance that seemed to reverberate deep within his core. He could almost taste the raw power it contained, a power that transcended anything he had encountered before. Steele's cybernetic eye scanned the room, analyzing the security measures surrounding the artifact. He noted the intricate pattern of laser beams crisscrossing the chamber and the pressure-sensitive plates on the floor. It was a trap designed to deter any unauthorized access, a clear indication that the corporation guarding this artifact took its protection seriously. Seraphina, the elven mage, was drawn to the magical aura radiating from the artifact. She extended her senses, feeling the subtle currents of mana weaving through the room. It was as if the artifact had an almost sentient presence, a consciousness of its own that beckoned to her, curious about her intentions. The team communicated in hushed tones, strategizing their approach. They had come prepared with a plan to disable the security measures, but the artifact's presence was overwhelming. Its enigmatic properties left them with more questions than answers. They knew that the true nature and purpose of the artifact remained shrouded in mystery. It was a double-edged sword, a source of immense potential, yet a potential threat if it fell into the wrong hands. The decision they had to make weighed heavily on their shoulders: complete the mission and deliver the artifact as instructed, or expose the corporation's dark secrets to the world. As they stood in the chamber, facing the artifact's allure and the ominous uncertainty that surrounded it, the shadows seemed to whisper secrets only they could hear. Their next actions would determine the fate of this enigmatic object and the destiny of those who dared to wield its power. The trio's resolve was put to the test as they deliberated their next course of action. The artifact pulsed with an eerie, almost hypnotic allure, tempting them with its tantalizing potential. Seraphina, her elven features bathed in the artifact's unearthly glow, felt a strange connection, as though it beckoned her to unlock its secrets. Brick, ever pragmatic and vigilant, weighed the risks. He knew that taking the artifact without delivering it to their employer could spell doom for the team. The mega-corporation that had hired them had vast resources and influential connections, and crossing them was akin to signing their own death warrants. Steele, the cyber-enhanced warrior with a heart of steel, listened to their arguments, his enhanced brain processing the data and variables at play. His cybernetic hand hovered over his weapon, ready for any potential threats. As they contemplated their options, the room's atmosphere grew increasingly tense. The artifact's pulsations seemed to quicken, as if responding to their deliberations. Seraphina's magical senses detected a subtle shift in the artifact's energy, almost as though it were sentient and aware of their presence. Their communication remained silent, each member of the team lost in their thoughts. In the world of shadowrunning, choices were rarely black and white. Loyalty to their employer warred with the moral dilemma of unleashing the artifact's potential or exposing the corporation's dark experiments. In the end, they made a decision, one that would forever alter their fates and the destiny of the artifact. With a shared nod and a sense of shared purpose, they chose to expose the corporation's secrets, to reveal the horrors hidden behind closed doors. Seraphina channeled her magic, creating a protective barrier around the artifact to prevent its activation. Brick initiated their extraction plan, hacking into the facility's communication systems to broadcast damning evidence of the corporation's unethical experiments to the world. Steele remained vigilant, his enhanced reflexes ready to respond to any threats. The chamber seemed to react to their actions, the energy field surrounding the artifact fluctuating wildly. Their mission had evolved from mere extraction to a battle for justice, and they were prepared to pay the price for their defiance. In the shadows of the chamber, a new narrative was born, one of whistleblowers, heroes, and sacrifices. As they raced against time to complete their mission and evade capture, they couldn't help but wonder about the true nature of the artifact they had uncovered and the secrets it held. The shadows whispered their secrets once more, weaving a tale of intrigue, danger, and the indomitable spirit of shadowrunners who dared to challenge the corporations that ruled their world. Their plan was set in motion with a rapid and precise execution that spoke to the synergy of their skills. Seraphina maintained her protective magical barrier around the artifact, shielding it from any immediate threats. She focused her eldritch power, ensuring that the containment remained impenetrable. Brick, the master of electronics and cyber warfare, initiated a series of hacks that bypassed the facility's security systems. His fingers danced across the keyboard as he breached firewalls and intercepted communications. With a few keystrokes, he initiated a data dump that transmitted the damning evidence of the corporation's atrocities to global networks. Steel, the team's human juggernaut, stood sentinel by the chamber's entrance. His cyber-enhanced eyes scanned the corridor, ready to repel any intrusion. He had seen enough combat zones to understand the necessity of covering their escape. The artifact seemed to resist their efforts, its energy field fluctuating wildly as if it recognized the danger it was in. The room filled with a haunting hum, a spectral choir of trapped spirits that whispered in tongues long forgotten. Outside the chamber, alarms blared as corporate security forces mobilized. The Shadowrunners knew that they were running out of time. Their actions would expose the corporation's darkest secrets, and retribution would be swift and brutal. As the seconds ticked away, Seraphina's magical reserves began to wane. The artifact's malevolent energy pressed against her barrier, seeking to break free. Beads of sweat formed on her brow as she strained to maintain control. Brick's fingers danced faster, his heart pounding in his chest. The data dump was nearly complete, and the evidence of the corporation's sins was spreading like wildfire across the Matrix. Steel's cyber-enhanced senses detected the approaching security forces. He gripped his weapon tighter, ready to unleash a storm of bullets if necessary. And then it happened. With a surge of energy, the artifact's containment shattered, unleashing a cataclysmic blast of magic. Seraphina was thrown backward, her magical barrier collapsing. The artifact's power surged through the chamber, causing the walls to quake and lights to flicker. Unearthly screams echoed as the spirits trapped within the artifact were freed, their fury manifesting in a swirling vortex of arcane energy. Brick's data dump completed just as chaos erupted. The evidence was out, but the facility was collapsing around them. Steel grabbed Seraphina, his cybernetic limbs whirring as he raced toward the chamber's exit. They emerged into a corridor filled with security personnel who were met with a blaze of gunfire from Steel's weapon. Bullets tore through the air as the team fought their way to freedom. The facility crumbled behind them, engulfed in a maelstrom of magic and destruction. The artifact's power had been unleashed, and the world would never be the same. As they made their escape, battered and wounded, the Shadowrunners knew that they had exposed the corporation's darkest secrets to the world. Their mission had gone from extraction to revelation, and they had paid a heavy price for their defiance. The shadows whispered their secrets, and the world listened. In the aftermath of their daring mission, the team contemplated the true nature of the artifact and the horrors it had concealed. The line between right and wrong had blurred, but one thing remained clear: the shadows would always hold their secrets, waiting for the next team of Shadowrunners brave enough to uncover them. Bruised and battered, the Shadowrunners fought their way through the collapsing facility. Steel's cyber-enhanced limbs moved with a precision that seemed almost inhuman, each step bringing them closer to safety. Seraphina's magical prowess had been drained, but her determination remained unshaken. As they reached the facility's exit, the team was met with the blaring sirens of approaching corporate security forces. Their foes were numerous, armed to the teeth, and determined to protect their secrets at any cost. Steel, the unwavering sentinel, laid down a withering hail of bullets, providing cover fire as Seraphina and Brick dashed for cover. The firefight raged on, echoing through the narrow corridor as they retreated. With Seraphina's guidance, they navigated the labyrinthine facility, using their knowledge of the building's layout to outmaneuver their pursuers. Brick's cyberdeck was a crucial asset, disabling security cameras and shutting down security doors to slow down their foes. Despite their efforts, the relentless pursuit continued. It was as if the corporation was willing to sacrifice everything to prevent the exposure of their dark secrets. Finally, they reached an unassuming access door that led to a maintenance tunnel. Steel quickly rigged explosives to the door, blowing it open just as the security forces closed in. The team slipped into the tunnel, their escape concealed by the chaos and destruction of the facility's collapse. They ran through the dimly lit passage, the distant sound of sirens and alarms fading into the distance. Emerging from the tunnel, they found themselves in a remote section of the Redmond Barrens, far from the corporate facility. Seraphina, still recovering from her magical exertion, conjured a protective barrier around them, concealing their presence. They paused to catch their breath, knowing that their mission had taken an unexpected turn. The artifact's unleashed power had left them with more questions than answers, and the revelation of the corporation's experiments had sent shockwaves through the world. Their decision to expose the corporation's dark secrets had come at a heavy cost. Lives had been lost, and the team's bond had been forged in the crucible of chaos and betrayal. As they looked at each other, they understood that the shadows held more secrets than they could ever uncover. The shadows whispered their secrets, and the world had listened. The team had succeeded in their mission, but at what price? As they contemplated their next move, they knew that the shadows would always beckon, offering new challenges, dangers, and secrets for those willing to answer the call. The aftermath of the Smuggler's run was a harsh reminder of the unforgiving nature of the shadows. The information they had gathered about the corporation's sinister experiments had sent shockwaves through the world, leading to investigations, public outrage, and the eventual dismantling of the organization. But the victory was bittersweet, marred by the sacrifices they had made along the way. Steel, Seraphina, and Brick had parted ways after the mission, each going their separate paths in the tumultuous world of shadowrunning. Steel, the cyber-enhanced survivor, had vanished into the shadows, his call name becoming a legend among runners. Seraphina, her magical abilities scarred by the artifact's power, had sought solace in the Redmond Barrens, using her talents to help those in need. And Brick, the relentless Troll Street samurai, had become a solitary figure haunted by the memories of that fateful mission. But the shadows never truly released their grip on them. A new mission, a new revelation, or a new threat always lurked on the horizon. And when the call came, they knew they would answer, for they were runners bound by the code of the shadows and the secrets they held. As the city's neon lights flickered in the distance, the team's legacy lived on, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to walk in the darkness. The world of Shadowrun was a treacherous one where every step brought danger, but it was also a world of secrets waiting to be uncovered, and runners like Steel, Seraphina, and Brick were the ones who dared to seek the truth in the shadows.